welcome to the premiere episode of The John Show. I am The John Show, and we're very excited. You know, you always remember your first time, and unfortunately, I can't forget all 7 seconds of my first time. And I say 7 seconds, and I'm not trying to be funny or cute. I'm actually being a little generous. It was actually more like 2 seconds. Now, I don't know if it was the sight of the vagina or the smell of the vagina, but as soon as my penis got close, it immediately started throwing up. And, you know, I did what any normal guy would do. I went to sleep. And I woke up, and the girl I had sex with, or touched my penis against, was livid. And I just didn't understand that. I expected to wake up and have her, like, texting her friends, yeah, my pussy got him off in a second, or, like, high-fiving herself. And that just wasn't happening. It was the exact opposite of that. And I couldn't understand it because she got me off that quick. Now, on the other hand, if I had gotten her off in a second, I'd have went running out of the room and like screaming down the streets, telling everybody. I'd have paid a guy to walk next to me with a sign pointing at me that says, "Gets girls off in a second." You know, I just thought it was very selfish that she was, upset about that. Now that I've made it sufficiently awkward, we'll go ahead and get the interview started. So let's go to my desk. We're real fancy here at the John Show. So it is with great pleasure to introduce my very first guest ever, Alex Giuliani. You know, one day when you have kids, you'll be able to tell them, I was the very first guest on the John Show. You know what they'll say to you? What the fuck's the John Show? But seriously. Alex Giuliani, how do I know you?
We work together at a place called Merrimack Caverns. It is a tourist trap in Stanton, Missouri. The only people that go down there are of Arabian descent for some reason.
Let's pump them brakes. Let's keep it family friendly here.
But yeah, you were the assistant manager, and I was I worked on the register and scooped ice cream.
It's funny you mentioned that. Most of the people that worked in the restaurant, most of the guys all worked in the kitchen, either washing dishes or cooking food like myself. Alex, on the other hand, worked out front, scooping ice cream with all the other ladies.
Yes.
Now, that was one of his constant sources of ridicule. And, he was really good at it. I'll give him that. He could scoop the shit out of some ice cream. It was just, a little weird seeing one guy and 6 girls up there. It was all crazy. A lot of the people that worked at the cave were people we knew, people, we grew up with. And one of them was a guy named Mitch Scholl. And for whatever reason, he had it in for you.
I don't know. We're friends, I guess you would say. But anytime he got pissed at me, he wanted to murder me. And I believe that he would because he's been known to strangle raccoons with the strings on his apron. So
he's not exaggerating. He would tell, many tales of how after mopping he would go outside and kill raccoons. And I just have this mental image of him like having a raccoon in a headlock and just like choking the life out of it.
He was telling me one time that he, after abusing it thoroughly, and it was still living for some reason, he hadn't killed it yet, he decided that it'd be a good idea to stand up on the rail and proceed to jump and stomp down on its head from about 5 feet up. So, pretty brutal guy. I was afraid of him when he got angry, for sure.
Wow, this isn't a funny story at all. This is depressing. You're over 21 now, so you can consume alcoholic beverages. And we've done that from time to time. It's just that when you do that, you sometimes forget where the bathroom is. You want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, it actually happened twice. For some reason, over at the apartment which he was living, John was staying at with 3 other guys. Guy we know named Greg, his room was in the basement, and he had some chairs down there that were really comfortable. There were just 2 of the same chairs, and if you push them together, it made kind of like a little bed or whatever. And I don't know, when I was a kid, probably like 1st or 2nd grade, I had this problem. I always used to sleepwalk, and my parents had caught me peeing in the refrigerator and peeing in the trash can. And I remember one morning I woke up and I didn't have any underwear on. And I was like, where the fuck are my underwear? And I had to walk to the bathroom with no underwear on, and they were on the bathroom floor for some reason. So I don't remember it. I don't know what's going on. So anyways, I was sleeping down there, and Greg was sleeping in his bed. So, all the lights are off, it's dark, and apparently he wakes up because he hears pee hitting the floor. So he wakes up, and the only part I remember is, like, falling back against the chairs, and, like, him, like, screaming and yelling at me, like, what the fuck are you doing? And that's when I, like, woke up. But apparently I had been sleep pissing in his floor. I peed all over his DVDs and his CDs, and he was pissed, but...
Rightfully so.
But in my defense, I don't remember. The only thing I remember is him, like, chopping me in the throat and knocking me back into the chairs.
Now, that happened, but did you actually start pissing, or did he catch you before you actually started pissing?
No, I was peeing then, and...
No, definitely take a piss.
I was peeing then, and it was pretty much the same thing. He, like, pushed me down, and I woke up. But the only difference here was his girlfriend Kendra was over at the apartment, and she was sleeping too, and he was, like, yelling at me. But then I remember, like, her being like, Alex, get the fuck out of here! And I'm like, in my head, I'm just like, fuck you! I was like, what do you have to do with this? So I ended up, like, right after that, I went upstairs and ended up peeing some more. I don't know how I peed anymore, because I had peed all over the floor again. But I pissed some more and then just drove home because I was pissed at Kendra.
You have a younger brother, and you guys come up. We used to watch the UFC pay-per-views together.
Yep. Well, the night John is referring to, he had way too much to drink. I don't know. I think he had, like, a bottle of, like, Jose or something.
It was a bottle of Jack Daniels.
It was a bottle of whiskey. Yeah.
And he's definitely 21, so don't worry about any of that.
Well, he had got that somehow. I don't know. Someone gave it to him. And he had been drinking to the point where he was just, like, passed out drunk. And he was passed out on the couch, and eventually he ended up falling off of the couch onto his face and was just on the ground. I don't know. I guess because he was drunk, he didn't really know what he was doing. He started spitting, like, just every so often on the carpet, just like, and that's all we heard from him for about 10 minutes. And then he starts to throw up. So we're like, oh fuck. So Lydia, your wife now, being the nurse, decided that she would help out and get a trash can and whatever. And so
none of you guys could think of that. It took a nurse to bring a trash can in.
I don't know. He was already face down, so it's not like he was gonna choke on it. Yeah. So I thought it was fine, but Lydia wanted to help him out. So she got a trash can and proceeded to let him vomit all over her hands and whatever. But she was cool with it. So I'm like, whatever. Well, after all that happened, we were trying to get him to calm down. He was flipping out. He thought he was gonna die. And we're like, Lydia's like, Adam, what do you want? What can we do to make you feel better? And he's like, I want to go to the hospital. And we're like, Adam, we're not taking you to the hospital. You're not that bad. And she's like, what else can we get for you? And he's like, my mom. But that was pretty much the extent of it. And we always give him shit about how he wanted his mom when he was wasted.
In his defense, he was only 11 years old, and who are we to say that we didn't want our moms when we were fucking tore up at 11?
I would have wanted my mom too.
So when people do talk shows, they want to talk about movies or CDs coming out that they've done. So is there anything you would like to plug? I mean, besides your asshole.
No, I think you got it pretty much covered. So.
Okay, so this is Alex Giuliani. I want to thank him for coming. My first guest ever. Hopefully, I'll have like 3 other guests in my life. So I think that'd be pretty cool. I like to thank him for coming and stay tuned. There's going to be a lot more John Show